it is your duty to protect the democratic process here in this city. And in November, we are already working to protect and preserve that. That is the real mission at hand in November. Yes. We don't have time to be fighting back and forth about this. What we have done as a council is put forth a very fair, a very simple solution. That is something that is happening across different levels of government. Thank you so much. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Ooh.
We have a few more questions.
Just to
This is why we're here, by the way.
Great.
We're here to listen.
or any of the council members, how many public hearings and responses that you have had in regards to advice and consent? And the push, because I hear from all the councilmen that everyone has had this heavy push for it. What was the responses from your constituents for advice and consent?
Well,
I'm a former, and I am also a former civil servant and emergency agent, so I get it. I understand it, but I'm just understanding how many meetings and how much input have you had from the
So, like all legislation, when a bill is introduced, it's up to a chair to hear it, okay, and that can take some time. A chair hears it. We wait, the members of that committee sit, they ask the administration questions, and then the public has an opportunity to testify in person. They can testify digitally on Zoom. They can also submit written testimony for 3 days after. Then it goes to a vote. If it has the support, if the powers that be in the council move it forward, it moves forward. That is the legislative process. If the mayor wills it, he can do a veto, and then the council can override a veto if they choose. So that is the legislative process that happens for all policy in this city.
So I just want to clarify, just so now that I understand it. So there was one public hearing on advice and consent.
All bills are entitled to a hearing.
Okay.
Yes. Now, some bills get multiple hearings. So, for example, there were bills from last session that are being heard again. So there will be 2 opportunities. I've sat in and chaired hearings that I've listened to testimony for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. Our education chair, oh my God, her hearings go for forever. We send her food so that she can eat through her hearings. So to say that there's not public input is just simply inaccurate.
But it's one hearing, just to clarify.
Like the charter mandates. Yeah. Yes, this is a known legislative process. I understand that it's hard for everybody to know all the stuff. There's a lot going on with city government, but I really encourage New Yorkers to learn about the legislative process. Please contact us. We want you to be involved.
Bullshit.
I don't think any other constellation of members that I've seen who want people as much as we do to participate in the legislative process. We want to hear from New Yorkers. That is the process that exists, and we encourage anyone to learn about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yes.
So Jackie mentioned something about, excuse me, how many people voted for the mayor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of my concerns with city council, because we looked at the numbers, and there was a very low voters that came out and voted a lot of city council in, right?
Yep.
So when we talk about the city council in the districts, the city council represented not a large amount of people that came out and voted some of the city council members in. And recently, I think you just said something we'd like to hear from the community. There was a father who lost his mother, 2 children, and his wife to a homicide in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. I couldn't even get in touch with the city council. This man
Fester
sent 4 bodies back to Asia, his country, and the disconnect that I had with getting in touch with the city council, the council person out there, and not one public official came forth to help his family.
Yep.
We are, because I have a domestic violence organization. So I'm here to speak for the everyday people, because we have experienced some of the horrificness in our city. That's why I'm here, to help make a difference for our people, to bring some kind of how are we going to, instead of fighting this one and fighting this one, and this one is voted, how are we going to come together and really be about the people. Because when it comes down, when someone is murdered in the city, I can call NYPD and get them there with me expeditiously. I can call someone from the mayor's office. But when it comes, right here, we search everybody in Bay Ridge, and not one city council came forth to help this family.
Yep.
And those bodies are being flown to his country in Asia with no help from the city council.
I'm very sorry to hear about. I'm very sorry to
I'm
hear
pretty
you
sure
weren't able
everybody
to
heard
get a
about this
response.
horrific murder.
Yeah, and that's awful that people had their lives taken from them, and I'm sorry to hear that you weren't able to connect. You know, our offices, we have district teams, people who work in our offices that are some of the hardest working people in New York City. They are public servants, just like many of you have been, and they are often overwhelmed by the volume of calls and people coming in the door who are constantly trying to put out fires for people. And we are constantly at the mercy of agencies to solve these issues. We are elected officials. Our job is to do the city budget and to do legislation and to help people navigate city agencies, which goes right back to the point that advice and consent is about, which is that when somebody comes in, they said, I got $5 on my food stamps, I can't give them extra money. I gotta call ahead of an agency and make sure their food stamps are recertified. When there's a fire and people are out on the street, I can't give them a place to go. I gotta call agencies to get them there. So this is at the heart of what we're talking about, is our offices are often at the mercy. So I'm sorry that happened to you. That's disappointing, and I hope that doesn't happen to anyone else. But we do have a lot of incoming, and we're only so many people in an office, whereas agencies represent tens of thousands of employees and have way more resources at their disposal.
Now, I just want to say this: you've been bombarded with questions,
That's fine.
and I appreciate it.
Happy to be able
If any of your colleagues obviously want to jump in as part of the answers, I think the question is not just to you;
Yeah,
it's
no,
for
I understand.
But Commissioner Grillo.
I would like